Ever since getting a puppy, I have done countless hours of research and learning about positive reinforcement methods and how to train a dog. Here are 3 principles that I took away from the dog training world and how I think they applied to my tech career and yours as well. Hi, I'm Laura, a PM working in tech, and on my channel I cover my life working as a PM, my life working in tech, and other computer science related advice. The first principle that I want to share is that you're doing your best with the education that you have. Being a dog and joining the human world is probably pretty confusing. You come into a world with a lot of rules, boundaries, expectations, and unspoken rules that you have no idea what they are, and then you're suddenly just expected to conform and have a great understanding of what it means to be a good dog. Now let's look at this in terms of a career. Let's say that you're relatively new to tech, such as a new grad. It's probably pretty confusing because there are rules, boundaries, expectations, unspoken rules, and a lot of other things that you're just expected to know right off the bat, or that you feel like you put pressure on yourself to know right off the bat anyways. Sound familiar? Regardless of what your current background, education, and experience is, it's going to look different from company to company and team to team. It's perfectly normal to be frustrated if you just aren't getting things and people are still expecting you to deliver things on time, or people just aren't meeting you halfway and giving you enough context, help, and general education in order to be successful. For dogs, this can be anywhere from basic obedience to advanced tricks, but basically if you're asking a dog to do something that they don't know, they're probably going to react in frustration, such as immediately barking, nipping at you, biting, or otherwise backing away and leaving the situation. They're fortunate that they're able to immediately express and vocalize how they're feeling, whereas for humans, it's also a little bit different. They usually tend to pent up all of their frustration until it kind of reaches a boiling point and simmers over, where things are just not going how you expected them to. How can we take a page from the dog book though and learn how to be better at expressing ourselves immediately or doing something in the shorter time frame so we don't have to reach that boiling point? A few examples, albeit obvious ones, include just simply asking your teammates, colleagues, and manager for feedback whenever you have the opportunity to. In every one-on-one, regardless whether that be with your manager or a teammate, that is a perfect time to get some reflection and feedback on the work that you've been doing over the past week. If there are some particularly difficult tasks, decisions, or general things that you need advice on, then don't hesitate to ask because it's going to be really important in making sure that you feel content for the rest of the week. Alternatively, if you have a way to request feedback asynchronously from your peers, then that's also great and it can also be highlighted on your performance review, for example, if they do shed positive feedback on your work. It's definitely not worth it to sit there and just silently suffer for hours upon hours when you could just pop over a question to your manager or a teammate and get things resolved in a matter of minutes. Over time, you'll slowly accumulate more knowledge, but just keep in mind that at any point in your given career, you're doing the best you can with what you've currently learned, and you don't know what you don't know yet. The second principle that I want to highlight is to spend your energy on the essentials. From day one, there's a laundry list of things to get done, from loose leash walking, basic manners, socialization, walking by people and other dogs, greeting people nicely, and so on and so forth. I only have so much time that I can dedicate in the day, and my dog also only has so much focus and attention that it can give me within a single training period. Paralleling this to work, there's also going to be an endless list of projects that you could possibly work on and things that can be improved around you that you don't necessarily have the time and energy to put forth. Again, there's also only so much time in a day and so much time, resolve, education, and patience that you have to get all these things done. In theory, you could help out and be a supporting role on an endless number of projects, and on the surface, that may seem like a good idea. If you do take a closer look though and evaluate all these things that seem interesting or maybe interesting to work on, I can guarantee you that the vast majority of those aren't going to play any role in your next promotion, career, or overall success. Eventually, with enough things on your plate, you'll probably feel spread too thin as well and on the verge of burnout. Generally speaking, I find that 2 to 3 mid-sized projects or things to work on is a good balance for an entry-level position, particularly from the PM perspective. Assuming you have a decent role in all of them, it gives you enough opportunity to bounce around between projects if you feel blocked or stuck on one of them, and it also gives you enough opportunities to learn and diverge in different paths so you get a chance to explore everything that's out there and actually expand and grow your skills at the same time. It's definitely important though that if you feel a little bit stuck, lost, or uncertain about what project is right for you, and you don't really have a lot of work upcoming, to have a conversation with your manager or lead about what is right for you. Talk about things that are high value, rewarding, and exciting for you to work on, and also it's a bonus kick if they're especially high visibility as well, because that's putting your name out there on a pretty important project. This conversation should also give you a good sense of how to prioritize your time, what's most important to focus on, and what can get dropped if you are feeling stressed out, burnt out, or just on the verge of breaking down. Also, sometimes new things just come up and things fall out of prioritization or no longer have the funding needed to actually support their viability. So if one of your other projects does get dropped, Take this opportunity to look forward to the next exciting thing and have that conversation with your manager about what to look forward to. The third and last principle is that sometimes it's just not the right fit. With puppies and dogs, bringing them into your home is a pretty big life transition, and a lot of people will start to regret and wonder if they actually made the right choice by introducing a dog into their family. And if it isn't the right choice, then they think about rehoming their dog. Similarly speaking, finding a new job or starting your first job ever is a huge life transition. Just because you happen to land on this particular team or accepted an offer at this company doesn't mean that you're bound to it, and it also doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be the perfect fit for you wherever you are at your stage of career and life. You may accept an offer on positive terms, but suddenly a week before you start, a huge reorg hits and a lot of leadership turns over, and then your manager is no longer who you thought it was going to be. Or just the general structure of the team and the things that the team works on changes dramatically from when you were interviewing with them. You're probably not going to have the same sort of satisfaction and happiness being on that team as you did prior to this whole reorg business happening. For both dog and career, you're going to need some sort of breathing room to really get acclimated to both things. But at some point, you're going to have to make a decision about your current situation and if it's the best thing right now for your overall well-being. For just an anecdote, it took me about 3 months on my previous team to figure out that it wasn't really the right fit for me. However, around the month and a half point is when I really started to pay attention to the things happening around me, and then I got a sense of what the culture was like, and I got a better sense of if I actually thought that this would be the right place for me to continue my career. However, joining any new role though, there's probably going to be some sort of struggle period, especially if it is your very first job, because you just don't really know what expectations are, and you don't really have standards set for yourself yet because it's your first job. You don't know if anything you're doing is right, and you're probably spending hours on the internet as well, just searching and seeing what is normal and what is not normal. However, once you get through the struggle period, you're probably going to be a little bit more acclimated, you get to talk to more people, get a sense of what the culture is and what really works well for you and what doesn't, and then you'll be able to make a more informed decision about what the right choice is for you about staying on the current team, or if you need to find a better place for you in your career. However, I think if you're earlier in career, and especially if this is your very first job that you're starting out in and just things don't feel right, just cut your losses earlier rather than later. Those are 3 dog training principles that I think apply pretty well to the world of tech and general career advice. Let me know if you have any other questions, and feel free to schedule a coffee chat with me at aka.ms/chat-with-Laura, or join the conversation on my Discord channel, linked in the description box down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week for a brand new video. Bye!